Trade limitless on HMX, the next-gen decentralized perpetual exchange. Trade crypto, FX, commodities with up to 1000x leverage on the Arbitrum network. Benefit from low fees, multi-asset collateral support, and cross-margin flexibility. Check them out.
From meme to utility, Floki has it all. NFT metaverse game called Valhalla. Floki University, DeFi, charity, and shopping. Floki is governed by the people, for the people. Floki, together there is no stopping us.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Adrian Zdunczyk, CMT Chart and Market Technician. Some people know me as CryptoBurp, and welcome basically to the day 3 of our free trading congress, the last 7 days. This is a 7-day virtual trade camp for people to come and learn the reliable education about trading, the reliable education about so many of the excellent projects that one of the representatives for such one is my today's excellent VIP guest, Pedro Vidal of TokenFi. How is it going, Pedro?
I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
I'm doing even better, right? Like there is this in psychology, there is this mirroring effect that we tend to like people who look like us. So even though you are a more handsome person than I am, you have this excellent hairline, bro. When I see a beard like yours, like the word just looks better immediately. How long did you take to grow it, man?
I think this one's been about almost 7 months, because it was longer before, but as I expressed earlier, my son wanted me to shave it. I did, and he's like, "Oh, you can grow it back now." So it's been about 7 months.
Jesus, 7 months, man. So speaking of your son, he must be a good prankster already at such a young age, right?
He got me good. He got me good.
Oh man, that the beard looks awesome, by the way.
Likewise, awesome. Man. Likewise.
Thank you so much. So, there is so much to be discussed, right? Because we're going to discuss the break-in overall. We're going to break down, the mysteries of tokens, smart contracts, and blockchains. And, Floki, TokenFi, there's so much to be discussed on how it all started and how it all transitioned to be, from a little bit of a meme, a little bit of this easy-going project into something such reliable, into something so full of utility, into something that is basically capturing the worldwide mainstream of the markets out there for crypto. So how did it start? What was the transition?
Well, I think to better understand that, it's always good to go to the beginning. And I think the best way to do that is to talk about how Floki evolved, right, to being led by our current core team. So for those that have been in Floki from the very beginning, or those that know of the story of Floki, it's actually a very beautiful story, and people will be talking about it in blockchain for the years to come, because like many other projects in the blockchain space, some of them fall prey to developers that either leave or that rug pull, leaving the community alone and without a developer, without a leader. Sometimes those communities dissolve, and we see that, and it's very unfortunate because it's to no fault of the community members. There seems to be sometimes a loss of trust and a loss of faith that happens, and even some individuals that turn away from crypto altogether. And I think that's a great travesty. What makes the story so different in Floki is the fact that after one developer had left, another developer comes in, ends up rug pulling. Then the community is like deciding, okay, so what's going to happen here? And then our core team looked at this as a wonderful opportunity to be able to go beyond what the main projects are intended to do, which essentially is just community run token, maybe not a lot of utility. And I don't think any of the core team members wanted to be associated with a project that didn't make people's lives better and it wasn't solving a problem. And of course, they were immediately embraced by the rest of the community, because who doesn't want that, right? Like everybody wants to be part of a wonderful community, but that has a vision and with a team that can deliver. So very quickly, things started to evolve in Floki, and it started with having the right leaders with the vision to move forward and say, okay, what are the industries that we can immediately penetrate, where not only can we gain market share, but change the game? Because in Floki, it's all about being the world's first, We don't like to follow trends. We make them. And I promise you, that's not hyperbole. That's really how we feel, and that's what guides almost every action and every direction that we take. And I'll be more specific. The metaverse industry is massive. The gaming industry is massive. So, as Floki was evolving and embracing its growing community, Valhalla was essentially of the first step. Like, how can we create a better metaverse play to earn game that can be entertaining, incorporate the best aspects of gaming, right? So you could, it's a Viking inspired game, obviously Valhalla. So you could raid, you could farm, there's a battle arena, there's all these different things that you could do within it. But it wasn't enough for it just to be a game. Right. I don't think that the core team ever thought that their efforts were going to be just for like a one standalone product. It had to be different. So with Valhalla, it was actually like the first NFT or play to earn game where the NFT upgrades are all done on chain, and that's a world's first. And I think that's where we start seeing this trend. We're like, okay, we have an incredible product. We're announcing it, we're putting it on the roadmap, and we're going to deliver. And that game is actually playable right now in testnet, and it's will go live on mainnet later on this year. So we're very, very excited about that. So that was essentially, the goalpost. All right, we're going to create this game, we're going to cultivate this community, but we're going to make powerhouse moves throughout the world. How do we do that? Well, we need to educate individuals on the fact that this is a lot more than just a meme project. And we're able to see that with the strong marketing campaign. Again, some projects and some companies, they just want to, pay individuals to be a billboard and say, buy this, invest in that. You're not going to find that here at Floki. We don't engage in those types of activities because our products and the services that we provide, they sell themselves. And individuals that can see the value and share in that vision can take this ride with us. And those that missed out on that boat, well, then that's something that they're going to have to like reevaluate. So we started to quickly see that this team could deliver as the game was playable, and people were able to engage and entertain in it. But then there became this notion that, okay, if our team can deliver on all levels, what is next? And being the visionaries that they are, they decided to start going into these other aspects and other industries. So, for example, DeFi is massive, but being another player in the DeFi space isn't something that we just wanted to do for the sake of doing it because it was cool and it was trendy and it would be a great ROI, in terms of time and our resource allocation. It was, how can we make it better and what problem can we solve? Very similar to the problems that they wanted to solve with the play to earn game industry. It has to be more than just entertaining. We have to push the envelope. So when we're looking at DeFi, Flokify was created, and with Flokify, essentially it's a play on words, like DeFi, right? Is short for decentralized finance. Flokify is short for Floki Finance, and one of the differentiating factors is, okay, how can we push the envelope? So I'm very happy to report that Flokify is the only token locker protocol that actually adheres to the ERC 1155 standard. So it was the first, and it's the only platform to do that. And it is the only platform that allows for batch locking. And for those in the industry, they understand that's a big thing. And for those that may not understand what that is, I can go into further details. But essentially, you're able to lock your liquidity pool tokens, and you don't have to do them in individual transactions. You could do batch locking, and ERC 1155 is the new standard. So why are other protocols not doing it? That's not our concern. Our concern is, how can we do this better? And we just had an upgrade on Flokify, by the way, which is like very, very exciting. But it was an innovative design, executed to perfection, and it's been very successful. Right, just over the tune of a year, Flokify has been able to, I believe, when I checked earlier this morning and late last night, the total value lock was just over $85 million. Mind you, that's over 1,800 total locks, and I believe that's broken down to over 14 supported chains, and I think there was about 57 NFTs. We got all the stats on the Flokify.com website, but you start seeing a trend here. Okay, we're pushing the envelope. on with Valhalla. We're pushing the envelope with what we could do with DeFi, but always staying and adhering to the fact that we want to lead from the front. So you hear a lot of things like, oh, world's first. Well, that's something that we truly live by, and you can see that by what we did with Valhalla in terms of the game mechanics, with the features that we're seeing now with Flokify, and and in every step forward. So let me explain what that means. We did the first metaverse token burn. So essentially, people got into the Valhalla game, they created their character, and they were able to essentially, in like a kumbaya fashion around the fire, a campfire, right? If you play Valhalla, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't played Valhalla, like, what are you waiting for, right? It's a fun game, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And there's a lot of aspects to it that I think are going to change the game. But then again, we move forward. We actually did the first token reveal in the metaverse as well. So it's just like very exciting. And that's how the TokenFi was actually announced to the world, first to our community members in our metaverse. And so you see what I mean? That it's constantly evolving, constantly pushing the envelope. There's also University of Floki. Education is very, very important, especially when it comes to crypto security, financial literacy. We want to make sure that we could service not only the individuals that are banked, but also the unbanked. So DeFi is super important, but I think education is key. And us being a truly global project, we have to make sure that we're looking at how we can service people all over the world. So sorry for that long-winded response, but there's been, a trajectory here of having the standard very, very high, and making sure that people can no longer mistake us for just a meme project, because everything that we're moving into is into industries that are booming. Right? When you're looking at the metaverse industry, it's projected to be a 1.3 trillion dollar industry by 2030. When you're looking at gaming, just under the tune of 550 $1 billion by 2030. And AI, may I add, is forecasted to be a $2 trillion industry. So when the core team was deciding, okay, how can we um, deliver to our community on demands for like staking, that wouldn't be an inflationary pressure on current Floki holders, but also make an impact in a thriving industry. And that's where the tokenization comes in, which dwarfs the metaverse gaming and AI by far, because it's forecasted to be $16 trillion by 2030. Mind you, that's not my opinion. This is sourced by major hedge funds like BlackRock and investment firms throughout. So make no mistake about it. Floki's here to dominate. Those that see us as just a meme project, do so at their own peril. But we don't worry about the noise. We don't look to what other projects are doing. We service our community primarily, that is our family. Two, we try to answer difficult questions with a solution that is constantly pushing the envelope, not only be the world's first, but to be the world's best.
Oh man. So Pedro, this is this is such an excellent introduction. You are such a good speaker. I could hear you talk, and I can listen to you talk for hours. Like, you've got an excellent radio, low tone, bass voice. Jesus Christ. I don't know what you do,
You're
but
so
just
kind.
keep it going, man. Let's just keep it going, right? So,
I
so,
appreciate you, brother.
yeah, man. I appreciate the calmness in your voice as well. There's a lot of experience speaking for you. There's a lot of wisdom speaking for you. That makes a lot of sense. So hopefully I'll be able to ask, well, a couple of more silly questions, Bakula, please, right? Because we
Mhm,
have RWAs, right, and real world assets, because
mhm.
that's the long version for the short abbreviation. Real world assets, have been ramping up, and some time ago, um, again, there were some statistics, about the industry growth by, like, 1,300% since the start of the year, and I think it
Yeah,
was September,
yeah.
right? So right now, of course, the altcoins, the crypto is getting a little bit of a fresh air let in to the room, which is very cool, because there is some awakening happening, there is some buzz happening, and it's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
thing, right? For the real world assets, like, what is the actual drive, desire, and where the TokenFi comes in it.
Well, I think the desire from the team side is to innovate in industries that have exponential growth forecasted, because to understand Floki and to understand the decisions that the core team makes, it's always important to look at the lens of how can we make things better. If we truly want to be seen as the most popular and the most utilized cryptocurrency in the world, that's not an easy feat. Okay. And people aren't going to do that because you have a cute logo and you're a meme, right? There has to be something behind it. Floki very much has something behind it, right? And we don't spend our time trying to convince people. We just focus on being able to deliver high quality products with a clear diversification, with a step forward, always evolution, always moving forward, but never forgetting where you came from. That's one thing. Two, we serve our community. What does our community deserve? Right, let's be honest. A lot of companies, they may not care about the individuals that support them in their community because they're set in their old ways. And that may work for them. That doesn't work for us. So what does our community deserve? Quite simply, the very best. Is it easy to do that? No. But anything worth fighting for and attaining is never easy. And I think that's something that's a common thread for the entire core team and everyone that's affiliated and working with Floki, like period. So when you're looking at tokenization, it's the biggest trend to ever hit crypto, period. Right? It's hard to imagine what would be bigger in the future. But then again, we can't forecast past the information that we currently have. And, there's one thing from us seeing it, and that's the one thing that this core team has been very good at, is identifying where there's an opportunity. Dare I say, like a market inefficiency, and how can we exploit that in the best sense of the word and lead the way. But Floki is not the only one. Right? I mean, major investment firms, VC firms, hedge funds, like BlackRock, like I mentioned earlier, essentially all of them are looking at tokenization. But it's not only private companies, and it's not only public companies. We're talking governments as well. And as a matter of fact, in Hong Kong, they just released 2 circulars talking about how to regulate tokenization. And this is really important because this is done at the highest levels. And if you wonder why in Hong Kong, for example, they're looking at this, is because they see the value in it. And it's not only there, I'm not sure if you're aware, but if you look at what Singapore is doing with Project Guardian, it's actually, with Singapore, Japan, and Switzerland, essentially it's a council where they're looking at how they can do a tokenization pilot. Because there's success stories of tokenization all over the world. You just need to know where to look and how are they utilizing tokenization. And it's an untapped resource. And those that have a prime mover advantage are going to have a competitive advantage. So if major hedge funds and VC firms are looking into it, if private and public companies alike are looking into it, and if governments are looking into it, there has to be something there. And then if you ask yourself, well, what is there, right? Is it just for profits? No, it's a lot more to do with that. It has to do with the best things that we like about blockchain, to be quite frank. Right? It's quasi secure. All right. It's immutable. All right. Easily verifiable. It's efficient and relatively cheap, depending on at the scale. So there's more than one good reason why tokenization is a hot trend. Again, Floki doesn't follow the trends. TokenFi isn't an example of us following a trend. It's us identifying an opportunity. So I think that you're going to hear a lot more of tokenization almost at every level, even real estate, because you're seeing that, right? And you could find firms all over the world that are doing this. Just some countries are regulated, and some individual properties are looked at as securities. So you have to be very careful where you're investing. But times are changing very, very fast, and Floki doesn't wait for the conditions to be prime to make a move. We build regardless of what's happening, and I think that's just been, I guess, our secret sauce is to continue to build no matter what happens outside. And we're not going to wait for 2030 to then develop a protocol and invest resources in tokenization, because that's not our style. That's not how we do things. We see it. We're going to be the leading protocol for tokenization, period. Anything less than that, then, I think it's fair to say that we feel that we may have, like, missed our mark, right? Because we're not happy with okay, we're not happy with good. If it doesn't hit the roof of excellence and start breaking those shingles off, then we're not happy. And that's just how we do things here.
I love it. I love it so much, Pedro. And you know, I'm wrong about a lot of things. I'm guilty of making all sorts of mistakes, losing a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
What I know is that we need strong voices like yourself, right? Not only it's my kind of like a personal prejudice, positive prejudice coup that I could listen to you talk for hours. We actually need people and VIP personas like yourself, Pedro, to speak up, and because the quality of the language you have and that you convey, the values that that Flocky as well as TokenFi basically present, it's actually happening, right? It's actually happening, and the more people actually realize that, way ahead of the time in advance, well, the more of the opportunity piece fraction you capture, right? So speaking of those as well, we couldn't really, not talk about the smart contracts, right? So
Mhm.
having the RWA's tokenization, of course, being very hot. Where are the smart contracts at that? What's the current outlook from the Flocky and the TokenFi side even more?
Well, as we've been going through the trajectory of how we've transitioned from the perception of just being a meme project to actually being a massive powerhouse DeFi protocol, leads us to TokenFi, right? So the ticker symbol token, and then the platform is TokenFi. So how we got there, right, is like the bridge, and then I'll entertain the question directly. The community's been asking for staking. Right? They want to be able to stake their Floki tokens. They want to be able to have other options. And the core team has been evaluating this for quite some time. But the problem with staking is it usually creates inflationary pressure. So usually you stake coin X and then you get a healthy APY of that same coin X. So what's happening is that you're creating more tokens, right? You're putting more tokens in circulation, and then that actually has a negative impact. So that's not what they wanted to do. Right? They needed to be able to solve one of the problems. So how can we create extra value and an enhanced experience for our community members? And that's how TokenFi was born. But mind you, this wasn't a universal decision by the core team, because that's not how the big decisions get made here. We're governed by a DAO, and all the important decisions, the community has a say. So there was a DAO vote in October, whether if they wanted to move forward with staking and with a sister token. It unanimously passed with 99% of the vote. And of course, immediately, TokenFi was born. Just a couple days later, launched on the 27th of October. So talk about how early we are in the life of TokenFi. So we were able to solve the one problem, to no longer have an inflationary pressure. But creating a sister token as a reward token for Floki without utility would go against the grain of the very fabric of what makes us so special. There has to be utility. There has to be utility. If we were able to show enhanced utility, that's great. But how can we push things even further? And that's how the entire protocol for TokenFi was actually designed and created. Essentially, you stake your Floki. You could do it for 3 months, 1 year, 2 years, or 4 years, depending on the terms. You'll be able to see an APY reflective of that term. But that platform, it does a couple things. Number one, it facilitates the reward token for you staking your tokens, your Floki tokens, which ultimately takes them out of circulation. Which, if you study finance and macroeconomics, you understand the importance of that. But there needed to be a way to tie it back into Floki. So, for example, if you were to stake your tokens for 3 months, or any of the terms from 3 months to 4 years, and you wanted to unstake, the fee that you pay to unstake results in an actual token burn of Floki. So it's like very, very exciting, because now there's deflationary advantages of being able to stake and using the sister token. So it falls in line with the way that this core team thinks, but there needed to be more. How can we create a tokenization platform that can lead the way and essentially be able to be the leader and dominate that market, which is how TokenFi, the platform, was actually created. And when you look at what TokenFi actually does, imagine that it's an all-in-one platform where you can tokenize assets, not only crypto, but real-world assets. So tying it back into your question, it's an incredible platform. And as a matter of fact, there was actually yesterday, for those of you wondering, like, well, haven't I seen it? Well, there was actually a leak on and a reveal done by CoinGecko. And if you go to our socials, you'll be able to see it. Or you can also check it out on CoinGecko's X page as well, and you'll be able to see how easy it is. But when you think about it, and for those of your listeners that may have wanted to put out a project before, there's considerable hurdles. You need a developer. You need to understand code. You need a budget for marketing. You need to have relationships with market makers. There's all these individual components that you need to have. Now, mind you, if you're an experienced developer, it may be easier for you to do that. But of course, you need an allocated budget to do so. So what can TokenFi provide? And the idea was, let's do an all-in-one platform for tokenizing assets, including real-world assets. How do we do that? How can we make it easier? Well, number one, this is a thriving industry already, is the no-code development. You're able to do the creation of a tokenized asset without any code experience at all. It's in 5 easy steps. You select your chain, you provide the information, the supply, the features, and then you're good to go. So you can create a very
You're
basic.
saying even someone as silly as myself can actually go and create it for myself.
No, absolutely not. You're the man. You're the man, bro. But yeah, anybody, honestly, anybody, right? And the idea is, you need to have a platform that has a good user interface that's easy. And you can see we deliver. If you go to the staking.floki.com, you'll see how easy it is to stake. It's very clean. There's not a lot of noise. It's just very, very simple. And when you're looking at least at the recent reveals of the platform, you'll see how easy it truly is. So mind you, you can create an easy smart contract, or basic, better term, or you can do a more advanced smart contract. If you want burn features, taxes, there's all these individual features that you can add, and all just with a couple clicks. No experience in code necessary. But there's not enough just to have that as the main features of the platform. There needs to be more. Again, this goes towards the philosophy and the spirit of the Floki team and what our community deserves, and how can we enhance value for the entire Floki community, because it goes beyond that. So we have the token launcher, where you're able to create the token and be able to launch it, but it goes beyond that, right? We need the integration for generative AI. So if you want to create NFT projects, you could do that as well. But you're able just to type in, Viking with blue hair and 4 axes on his back. Okay, perfect. Boom. You're able to type that in. You got the prompt. Now you have a potential NFT that you would like to launch.
Is that somehow connected with the Midjourney and similar kind of like AI image generating apps, or is it like a custom one that Floki actually created and TokenFi? Yeah,
I'm not at liberty to discuss what's happening behind the curtain in terms of the generative AI component, but there will be an update, because I was briefed, right? Because as you quickly will see, I'm having my coffee, if you don't mind.
Please.
I'm very passionate, right, about what we're doing here, and this isn't about like me and like my personal ambition. We all have that. It's just I think that we all share a heightened sense of responsibility, and to be able to represent the community in the best light possible. So I'm very passionate and I like to, give direct responses, but I had to like practice and say, okay, there's some things I just can't talk about, because there's always a reason behind the ceremony, right? And you can see that with our marketing, you can see that with the way that we reveal things to the world, but there will be updates on that. That I could promise.
All right, there we go. There we go. Sorry, excuse me, everyone. That was a failed attempt at trying to get a little bit more information ahead of everybody else, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate your honesty, Pedro. Though, right? This is, uh, I'm, the inspiration is building up literally as we speak, right? On my end, and I see the community well that you have is obviously the top notch. I don't know probably any other community at this time in 2023 in November. What is it? November 17th, right? I don't know any other community if such an excellent strength and resilience and such a passion and such a strong feeling of unity as Flocky does, right? And having TokenFi right now to realize all those purposes it's incredible, man. Congratulations. Like, what's the secret sauce behind the community then?
um it's not one thing, and you know character is something that you can't fake, right? You could try to fake intellect, right? um Intelligence, certain decision making, certain character traits, uh, but the very fiber and character of Floki is not something that you're going to be able to fake, right? Because number one, you need to have access for the community to have a platform to actually engage with the entire team, and that's something that we do quite frequently. If you look at the programming that we have throughout the week, it's quite extensive. All right. We have like a going to Valhalla session on Wednesdays where you can learn about our metaverse game and do walkthroughs to get the updates. Every week we have a weekly VC where we go through all the updates of the week, because mind you, people are working for the most part. They don't have time to follow all our social media posts. So we need to be a way to keep our community informed. We have frequent like lounge sessions where we just open up a VC and people can vibe with us, ask us questions. So there's very much a component of keeping the community informed, but it's beyond that. It's about keeping a community engaged and participating in the process, because we are governed by a DAO. So ultimately, the community has the power. And for all the incredible features that we see that Floki is able to deliver on, beyond Flokify, beyond Valhalla, beyond University of Floki, now beyond what we're seeing with TokenFi. Make no mistake about it, our most important asset is our community. So we always have to ask ourselves, what's the best we could do for our community, and then work in reverse. So when we look at TokenFi, for example, it's going to be it's a platform that our community is going to be very proud of, but it stands on its own 2 feet, right? Because it's an all-in-one platform. And I was only able to talk about some of the features, right? So I'm going to blend my response, right, to based on this question and the previous. With TokenFi, it's not only about having a platform that's easy to use, no code experience, but is it safe? And I think a big problem that some projects have is they don't get the appropriate partners to do an audit. So mind you, you're using the platform, and then you can actually get an AI generated audit. Mind you, our partner is the leading crypto auditor in the industry, which is Certec. So mind you, you're going to be able to have an on-the-spot audit as well as a branded audit report. That if you're launching a project, I think it's important for those community members to understand that, okay, I got an audit from the leading firm in the world, and I value that information and I trust that information. But that's just an additional feature. There's a launch pad, which is incredible because sometimes you need to find enhanced liquidity. The platform will facilitate that as well. There's also TokenFi Connect, and that is going to be very, very exciting because it's going to essentially connect the users of the platform with market makers, influencers, thought leaders all over the world. So you can be in Bangladesh, may not have a big budget, but you have a great idea. You could use this platform and have a wonderful opportunity to do something great in the crypto space. You can get
That's an
audited.
excellent vision.
Oh man,
Excellent.
yeah,
Excellent
it's
vision.
just so much, and then but it has to be more than that, right? There's also a quick launch bot where we're going to leverage Telegram and Discord. And if you're looking at those user bases, it's massive, right? 800 million on the Telegram side, just over the tune of 190 million, right, on Discord, and to be able to have an automatic way to generate the token launches. So mind you, it's an all in all in one platform designed to be user friendly, provide you the security that you need in terms of like the audit, and make it cheaper. So we're lowering the barriers for projects to be able to launch as well as for NFTs. And then, of course, to be able to tokenize real world assets, which is an incredible untapped resource. And if for folks that want to know more, you can absolutely go to our socials and see where the roadmap is for the Q4 of this year and for 2024, because a lot of what I mentioned is going to be ready in this year. So it's just very exciting times for us, man. It really, really is.
That's what I hear, and that's what I'm learning. I didn't know about the TokenFi Connect, to be honest, right? I feel ignorance on about so many of the fields that you're mentioning because it's so vast, it's so broad, and that seems that what exactly the plan is, right? Kind of like just
Mhm.
tackle and be the first in every possible way, and not only the first to be actually the best. And I
That's
think
right.
this continuity and persistent, right? You
Mhm.
refer to persistence, Pedro. So this is exactly what helps build a success in the long term, right? And one of the again, I've just turned 30. There's so much I don't know, right? There's so much I'm learning from you at this very session itself, which is something that I'm grateful and thank you for that. Um,
Mhm.
is what I've got to figure out that the most extreme outliers, business projects, people continue to repeat one and the same thing, and this is the persistence, right? So no matter the conditions you build, no matter the situation outside, you commit, right? You come and pick up. So this persistence, this reliability builds trust, right? It helps, just not only community prosper, it helps actually, build and lead, because there's so much noise outside,
Mhm.
there's so much of the scam projects out there. And
That's right.
with the reliability, with the persistence, with those years and years of work and this excellent vision and drive that you would have, for Flock for TokenFi, this is going in some crazy places, my friend. Congratulations on that. This looks like
Yeah.
extremely promising. That's what I can say. So having just a couple of more minutes left, uh, to appreciate your generosity and wealth of knowledge, please, to everybody who's watching and listening, make sure you actually have TokenFi and Flocky both on your following list, right? You're gonna find TokenFi at basically TokenFi on Twitter/X, and you're also gonna be able to find Flocky with the golden badge. Do not just confuse that with the impersonators. Real Flocky Inu, right? Real
Yeah.
Flocky Inu. Go follow them, their accounts. They are doing incredible things, and it's just not me saying that. It's exactly what Pedro is putting right in front of you. Those incredible things. And speaking of more of those incredible things, right? We just got this perfect marketing partnership announcement, a strategic marketing partnership announcement with the cricket teams in
Oh
India, if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken, right? So speaking of
That's
going
right.
viral, what other fields is Flocky bullish on?
I mean, there's quite a few, right? We talked about, DeFi, metaverse, blockchain gaming, tokenization. I think the no code development would be like the other industry, especially since it's so intertwined with the platform. And it's important that we do whatever we do, we're the best. Once we conquer and we have everything settled, then we can start moving on and expanding. So I'm sure there's other like fields and industries. Obviously, education is massive. So we have this next chapter with University of Floki. Because mind you, we're always constantly delivering for our community. I mean, we've had an incredible conversation, and I feel like I've done like too much talking. But I love what we're doing. But one thing is trusting what I say, right? And I would really strongly urge everyone that's listening that may be on the fence on what we're doing. Don't trust what I say, but look at the information, right? Not only are we able to deliver right? An innovative tokenization platform, but we're continuing to enhance the experience for not only our Floki holders, but also for TokenFi and for our token holders, right? Because it's ticker symbol token, so sometimes it's, it's a mouthful. But I'm very happy to say that if you look at our roadmap, you're also going to be able to stake your token, which essentially is the TokenFi token. So we have a lot on our plate already. So the fact that we're going to do this as well just really lets you understand how we value our community, and we're constantly trying to improve their experience. And I don't mean like the value, right? I mean the experience, right? Being part of something that you could be proud of, being part of a project that's always pushing the boundaries. And as you mentioned, right, and looking at our new marketing partnership with the Legends League Cricket, it's just another example of being a world's first. And for those that are listening that may not understand, Floki is all about world's first. So what's so special about this specific announcement is the fact that there's essentially going to be a clash of the tokens. So what does that mean? Well, let me explain. The Billwara Kings and the Manipul Tigers are actually going to be sponsored, right? And there's a partnership with them. So you're going to be able to see on one teams, you're going to be able to see Floki not only on the back of their jersey sponsors, but also on their sleeve. The other team is going to be sponsored by TokenFi. So out of the entire season that they have, I
This is
believe it's from,
crazy.
no, it's wild, November 18th to December 9th, if I'm not mistaken, but November 24th, that day is going to live in infamy, because once again, we do something different where you're going to have the Kings versus the Tigers, and you're going to see both our tokens going against each other. So everybody wins. But if you go to our chat right now, it's lit ablaze, because who are you going to go for? You're going to go for Floki? You're going to go for TokenFi? And it's just exciting. Like, who's done that, right? I don't even think there's actual regular private or public companies that have done that. But
I
again,
haven't heard.
yeah, I'm telling you, man, that's why you miss one day. It's just like a joke within our community. If you're ever sick or you go on vacation for a week and you come back, so much has happened that I really need to like embrace that that the role of being able to communicate, because so much has happened and there's so many good things that happen within our project that it's hard to prioritize them. But for all the cricket lovers in the world, this is gonna be some intense matches. So I hope you enjoy it. It's gonna be broadcasted. I mean, to over 700 million individuals. So this is exciting stuff, man. And this is the kind of thing that Floki and TokenFi constantly try to emulate. And I hope that whoever's viewing this live and whoever's going to enjoy this recording after the fact can truly embrace the words that I'm saying, and fully understand how much the core team at Floki actually cares about their community, and how they see blockchain as an opportunity to essentially, put their flag down on the ground and leaving the technology and the space better than what they found it. And that's a common thread
Oh,
here.
man. That's deep. That's deep. That's deep. Uh, I have so many questions and so many. The chat is buzzing. Actually, there are so many very nice comments. There are people, talking about the beards, of course, right? Whose beard is going to be better? Of course, Pedro's. Like, what kind of question is that even, right? So there's this again. I mean, I feel so inspired, bro. So, may I ask you a little bit more personal question
Sure.
to Pedro? Is that okay?
Yeah.
So having such an excellent calmness in your voice, having such an excellent, professionalism in the way you speak, you're such an excellent speaker. Have you thought of creating some sort of like a Flocky radio where people could just listen to you 24/7 nonstop?
Yeah, I mean, like personally, yes, right. I have personally, I've been wanting to have like my own like YouTube channel, right, where I'm able to talk about certain things, because I feel that the space like needs it. But when I say that the Floki team puts their community first, I feel like my talents are better suited to serve my community, right? And one thing that you don't really see in Floki is, oh, I'm the CEO, and is a hierarchy, and then everybody like reports to this person, and it's not like that, right? It's very much like no borders. Let's have a dialogue. How can we make this experience better for our entire community? And it's the community members coming together, right? Because you remember our core team were community members, and they were able to come together and execute on a vision. So me, I'm using my talents to be able to keep our community informed and wherever I'm needed, because I truly believe in what we're doing. And who knows, this role could evolve, right? But I'm not going to put my personal ambition before what the team and the community needs. There'll be time. I'm still relatively young, even though my beard is white, you know. I'm still relatively young, but it's all hands on deck right now. And in the end, uh, do I want to be part of history in this space? And the answer is yes. Can I better serve my community by being 100% dedicated to them and being able to communicate not only our updates, right, but the vision of our community leaders? Because mind you, they're busy. The developers are doing their thing, right? They're working on the game. They're looking, they're making sure that all the smart contracts and that are tested. I mean, we don't sleep, right? Our marketing director, Sabers is always working. We have a truly global team, so sleep is something that we're kind of short on, because we have different time scales and different time zones. But maybe let's see how things evolve. If that's something that the community wants, and the core team wants me to put my efforts on, great. But right now, at least you can hear my voice at least twice a week, right? At least going to Valhalla on Wednesdays, or potentially any lounge sessions in between, and then a Saturday weekly VC. And I have tons of work. And I honestly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, I love what I do. I could not imagine a better community to be able to engage with and represent in opportunities like this. I consider myself truly fortunate and blessed. And of course, to spend time with you now. And you have a great beard as well, sir.
Pedro, you're such an excellent professional, right? Again, this is I'm feeling blessed and honored to be to be able to ever speak with legends like yourself. And for everybody who's just again tuned in, we are slowly getting a wrap over our excellent session, for Free Trading Congress, the fifth edition of our Free Trading Congress, with this legend in front of you, with this excellent, good-looking legend, Pedro Vidal of Floki of TokenFi. And we're gonna have just a little bit of time, to leave our viewers and listeners with some final tip, with some final cliffhanger that you would recommend for everybody to be aware of. Pedro, what's that gonna be?
Well, to be honest, a leak or update could be just right around the corner. I think I don't want people to feel that like for them to like engage in FOMO or anything like that, because we value the work that we're doing. For the entire Floki and TokenFi community, if you're watching, we see you, right? We hear you, and we'll always be there, right, to make sure that we could represent you in the best light possible. For those that may not know Floki and TokenFi, just join the chat, right, and see what we're all about. There may be something there that falls in line with your vision and ideals that you believe in, because for us, like, loyalty is everything, followed by transparency, obviously, accountability and respect. And it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood, obviously. But if you want to be part of a family, you want to be part of a project that cares about their community but wants to leave the blockchain space better than what they found it, then there could be a home for you in Floki and TokenFi. And our products, they sell themselves. We're really trying to make history. We have made history, but it's a constant and evolving goal, because we're always pushing the envelope. We'd love to have you. Feel free to join any of the VCs and ask any questions. We're open to it. It's important that there's transparency in the space. Unfortunately, there's not enough of it, which is why opportunities like today, and thank you, and obviously the Bird's Nest for this opportunity, because the best we can do is educate folks on what we're doing in the time that they allot to us. That's the very best we could do. We need to be concise. We need to be informative, and entertaining if we could fit that in as well. But the substance has to be there. Okay, the information needs to be accurate. And of course, there needs to be transparency through and through. So I really, truly appreciate you.
Wow. The appreciation is mutual. Speaking of joining to Telegram, that's exactly what I am doing right now myself. I just fixed my
Yeah.
ever worse mistake and just joined the community. The link is in the description of the bio of Real Flocky. And do not hesitate to actually do it. Speaking with Pedro Vidal of TokenFi of Flocky for the past 15 minutes or so has been such an inspirational experience to me and so many people as well. If you watched it and you appreciate the quality and this incredible voice and the skills that Pedro has just showed, make sure to give them a round of applause for the Flocky, for TokenFi. Hit a Flocky and hit a TokenFi in the chat for the comments. Just nail those comments. Give a round of applause to our excellent VIP speaker, Pedro Vidal. Again, that's been an excellent session, my friend. Thank you so much for your time. And let's hope there are going to be so many more to come in the future.
We're looking forward to it, and I really appreciate your time. And now that you're in the chat, you're a fellow Viking, you know, and you look like a Viking. So, you know, birds of a feather flock together, my friend.
Oh man, couldn't find a better place to finish this excellent session. Thank you so much. Let's roll on to the next one. Do not miss the next episode. The next episode and the next session of the Free Trading Congress, which is coming right in a couple of minutes. Stay tuned, and I see you around. Thank you again.
Take care.